Hello, Mad Heroes and Extraordinary Game Changers. My name is Jennifer Mackey, and I'm the Chief Visionary Officer and owner of a company called Project Yes Life. And for those of you that aren't familiar, in these last few years, we have launched something called the Phone Booth Project, which is all about igniting and fueling heroism within ourselves and in the world. This new video series that we're running is called Musings and Missions from the Booth. And today I want to talk to you about fear. And this video is titled Facing Your Fear, and that's your trump card. Facing your fear is your trump card. And Mr. Trump, in this run for the election for the President of the United States, has taught us a lot about this subject matter. And over the last number of months, my husband and I have been following quite closely what's been going on for that run for presidency and all that's gone on with Donald Trump and with Hillary Clinton, and what that's meant and how it has affected not only the United States, but us here in Canada. And even though we're not in the throes of that election, we are very much affected by what is happening. And as many of you know, if you've been watching at all, that there have been some unprecedented developments with regard to this run for the presidency. The mudslinging that's happened, the difficulties and challenges on both sides of the equation. And I'm not here to have a political side. I'm just here to talk about what we've learned from this and what we can take away from some of this. With regard to fear, in this last little while, I think because of all that's been said and what Donald Trump has proposed as far as solutions moving forward for their country, there has been a lot of mudslinging with regard to the diversity and the people of this world that I personally feel so incredibly appreciative of and passionate about. And I think that what's happened is that this has created a wave of fear and upset and worry with many, many people, whether you're in the United States and Canada or in the rest of the world. What I want to take away from this is that when I was listening to CNN this morning, they had an interesting commentary going on about where the campaign stands now. And the fact that if Donald Trump had a chance to win this at all, and I'm not saying that he does, I'm not a political correspondent or an expert in that area, but what they were saying was he would have to stick to message. And he would not allow himself to be jumping into the throes of reacting constantly to whatever he is being accused of in the moment. It is not, I don't believe that he shouldn't address those things that are going on. But what this says in a bigger sense here is that this is so typical for so many of us. When we become afraid of something, when we feel like we're going to lose something, when we feel like we're taking a greater risk and maybe the outcome isn't going in the direction that we had hoped, we can oftentimes get off message. We can become so caught up and consumed in the fear, whether it's overt and we show it or not, what's going on swirling around inside our hearts and our minds. We can become so caught up in that fear that we can lose sight of our message and our focus and what we're trying to passionately and madly and amazingly contribute to this world. So what I want to take away from that, and I invite you to take away as well, is to take a good close look at your life right now. I know that if you're listening to this video and if you've tapped us in at the Phone Booth Project and you've joined this League of Extraordinary Game Changers, that you are definitely passionate about your message, that you have something beautiful and exceptional and magnificent to contribute to this world. And all I'm going to do is invite you to not allow yourself to be consumed with any kind of fear, any kind of worry. And so what that requires is that you are honest with yourself about where that fear is and where you're seeing it and where it's showing up, not necessarily out into the world, but what's going on in your own heart. So what I invite you to do today is I'd like you to just get quiet for a moment and write down 1 to 3 things that are holding you back from living the greatest vision of your highest life. And that then I want you to do, after reflecting on that, I invite you to write down what your core message is. What is it you're really here to do? What do you really want to create? What do you really want to deliver? Because if we're super clear about it, what it is we want to create and what we want to deliver, then those fears tend to disappear. But we have to see them first. We have to be honest about them. Donald Trump would be served well by being really honest about what he's afraid about in all of this, whether it's losing perhaps the candidate or the seat for the presidency, or whether it's about losing his reputation, or it's about losing his his business connections and his business transactions, and then taking a look at what he's really trying to do. And I use that example because it's an extreme one, but it's true for all of us. We need to stay on message. We need to be honest about what we're afraid of. We need to acknowledge it so that we can then deal with it and then get back to message. We have so many extraordinary things to do in this world in order to be able to become more heroic within ourselves, to create a sense of peace and connectedness within our homes, and to be able to contribute effectively and powerfully out in our communities and in the world. But we need to start here and to be really honest. I know that over the next 2 weeks, exactly as of today, these next 2 weeks, for those of you that are my kindred soul friends in America, I hope that it just unfolds in a way that you can feel peace about. Because in all of this, it can be very frightening and very worrisome in the way that things are turning. But truly, we need to just remember that only that which we allow can shake us, and that we have to trust in the people that are not only within our democratic system, but are the people around us, that they will rise to the best occasion of themselves. And if we all can focus on those positive thoughts, no matter the outcome or the result, that we can stay positive on those thoughts and focused on those thoughts, that we can at least affect change and that resonance of energy that is hopeful, that is trusting in our own presence, in the presence of our families and in our communities. And maybe that, and we know that that can affect change, not only within our own little world, but also within the world as a whole. I wish you all the best. I hope you face those fears today, and I hope you come out on the other side feeling more confident and more on message than you ever have been. I wish you extraordinary game-changing moments in your extraordinary game-changing day and life, and I look forward to connecting with you next time. Bye-bye.